Hi, it's the Midnight Raven here. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be streaming today. I meant to be streaming before I go on holiday tomorrow, but we've had a really rough 24 hours. Midnight came in last night. He'd been attacked. He had a large gash on his leg. Unfortunately, this morning we had to rush him to the emergency vets to get him seen. They then said that he had to have stitches, so he's had to be sedated, he's had to have stitches, he's had to have antibiotics. It's been a very, very traumatic 7 or 8 hours since he was attacked. I've been in tears at least 3 times now this morning. So I'm going to show you him. At the minute, he does have a cone on him. He's very dazed. He has only been home about 15-20 minutes. He was sedated. He's had antibiotics. He's had an anti-inflammatory. He's still drugged up to the eyeballs, bless him. They didn't give him a full anesthetic. He's only had a local sedation. But he has had 3 major stitches in his side leg. He does have to go back in 10 days to have them taken out. While I'm away on holiday, do not worry about him. He is being looked after by my partner's mum, so he's going to be in perfectly good hands for the entire week. I myself will do the worrying for everybody else while I'm away on holiday, trying to enjoy myself. And I know people are going to say, why are you going on holiday if your cat's injured? At the minute, he's had everything he could possibly have done. He's had the surgery, he's had stitches, he's had his antibiotics, he has a cone on him. Apart from just letting him sleep and rest the next couple of days, there's nothing we can really do to help him. But my partner's mum is going to be checking on him every day. He'll be fed, he'll be watered, he'll be checked over. We will check for infection, and he'll be basically like a cat nurse. He will be fully looked after. So anyone that's worried out there about Midnight, he will be fully kept an eye on. I'll be informed every day of how he is, and you know me, I'll be on there first thing in the morning, last thing at night, checking he's perfectly fine. So this is Midnight. You'll have to excuse him. He is at the minute in a bit of a grump. He has been sedated, so he has his little cone on to keep him from licking it. The wound itself is round here. You can't see it clearly, but he's got 3 big stitches in there, bless him. He is currently asleep and resting. He did have a hole. It was a fairly big hole. It was about the size of a 50p piece. But instead of just having a cat scratch where it takes like the first layer off, he'd actually gone far as being attacked to where he'd gone down to the muscle. So when the cut was open and it was moving around, you could actually see the muscle moving. Now, if he'd have gone as far as getting it down to the bone, then he'd have had to have major surgery. They'd have had to put him on a proper anaesthetic, knock him out entirely, and he would have had to have stayed at the vet's for a day or two and everything. Luckily, he's only had to be sedated, and it's a few stitches at the minute. We do have to keep out for signs of infection and everything, but he wasn't limping, which was a good thing. When he first hurt his leg, there was no limpage, there was no signs of distress. He didn't even seem to notice that he'd even been attacked, to be fair. He just wandered in, plain as anything, couldn't even tell he'd injured himself until we noticed the blood on his leg. It was literally like he hadn't even had anything happen to him. So I was going to stream today, but I've decided that with the shit I've already had this week, what with the bank and other problems, and then having no sleep last night, worrying about Midnight every hour, I was up checking him, making sure he was fine. And I've got so much to do before we leave. We're like behind now by like 3 days. You know, we had the bank stuff, and now I've had to spend the last 24 hours with Midnight as well. So I've had like maybe an hour, hour and a half sleep last night at the most. I was up every hour checking on him. Because with it being an open wound, the one thing you don't want is an infection. I didn't want it to tear, because obviously with it being an open cut, it could have torn even more. He unfortunately was licking it last night most of the time, which unfortunately I couldn't stop him. And he made it slightly worse and agitated. So he has had an anti-inflammatory injection as well as the infection injection, which is the antibiotics. The anti-inflammatory is to take the swelling out of the redness that he put there by licking it all last night, which unfortunately I can't stop while I'm asleep. Best to my ability, I couldn't stop my cat doing that, and it's a natural thing. Usually if cats get a tiny little cut, they'll lick it, and it works like an antioxidant. It just cleans it, and it works, and it would heal naturally. This one, unfortunately, was right down to the muscle. So although it would have healed in time if we hadn't have had surgery, the problem is the more it's open, the longer in duration. You leave yourself open to infection and worse stuff. So it was best to have him sewn up and done. But he will be on a week recovery. He'll be housebound. He'll be allowed in 2 rooms, the front room, and he will be allowed in the bathroom, which is where his litter tray is. But that is as far as it goes for his mobility. Hopefully by tomorrow, when I leave, he'll show some signs of being a bit more with it. At the minute, he's still knocked out for the count and will be for about the next 24 hours. We're looking at. Hopefully by tomorrow morning, he will have gained a little bit of his enthusiasm. But it's going to be a slow, steady recovery. Obviously, he had to have the area shaved, so he's going to hate that because he hated it when he had to have his bits chopped when they did him. So I can't see he'll enjoy this any better. But I can show you his face just so you can see that he's all right. So here he is, everyone. I can't really get a good angle on him, but there he is. He's in the land of Nod at the minute, bless him. He will be perfectly looked after and fine. So all my YouTube fans that love Midnight, Midnight is strong and resilient. And you know the last time he was attacked, he came back twice as strong and he didn't let it bother him. So sorry for no live stream today. As of tomorrow, we are gone for 5 to 6 days. So the next live stream will probably be next Sunday, and I will give you an update on Midnight, who should be on the way to a full recovery by then. He does have 10 days before he can have the stitches taken out, so I will give you an update next Sunday on his condition. He should be running around by then and being a general tearaway. My little baby is strong, so no worrying, no more crying. I've spent crying all morning over him. If you haven't already, do give the video a thumbs up. It will be much appreciated. Don't give it for me, give it for Midnight. He needs all the love in the world now for his steady recovery. If you want to leave comment down below of well wishes, please do so and I will read them to Midnight. He will appreciate every little wish. He's going to make a full recovery and you wait, he'll be destroying my stream before long. And I will see you guys in a week's time. Bye.